Greetings today. We continue our study of the book of 1 Peter. Today we move to chapter 2. We'll be considering verses 1 and 2. And we've entitled this message, The First Steps Toward Maturity. Peter says here, wherefore laying aside all malice and all guile and hypocrisies and envies and all evil speakings. Note the plurals, because he means we do these things on multiple occasions. As newborn babes desire the sincere milk of the word, that you may grow thereby. So in 1 Peter chapter 1, we talked about from Peter to the selected, sojourn, sanctified, sprinkled, and secured ones about God's purpose concerning the present sufferings and the future glorifications, concerning or following Christ's example, focusing on present service, identifying uniform and standards, understanding the price paid, and exercising faith from birth to maturity. So we concluded our study of 1 Peter 1 with the perishing flesh and the abiding Word of God, which teaches us about a proper devotion for our temporal existence. Chapter 2 of 1 Peter will continue and expand the instructions concerning the exercise of our faith from birth to maturity. That is, the proper devotion for our temporal existence. The first steps toward maturity will teach us how the newborn child of God must begin to walk in the image of Jesus Christ. 1 Peter 2:1 literally says, therefore having laid aside all malice and all guile and all hypocrisies and all envyings and all speaking down to others. Malice is hatred of the heart. Guile is deceit of the heart. And hypocrisies are false judgments because of prejudice. Envyings are covetousnesses of the heart, and evil speakings are speaking down to another. This is the outward expression of these aforementioned heart attitudes. Malice is Strong's 2549, and it means badness or malignity. If the doctor tells you you have a malignant tumor, is that a good thing or a bad thing? And I think we'd all say it's a bad thing, right? Well, the great physician is telling us that we have a malignant tumor in our hearts and our minds. It's called malice. He said it's a bad thing and it needs to be removed for the proper improvement of our spiritual health. Guile, Strong's 1338, dolos. Craft, deceit, guile, or subtlety. Exodus 20:16 said it this way, thou shalt not bear false witness. That's one of the 10 commandments. Remember, all false witness in word or action begins as a thought of one's heart. And then he talks about hypocrisies. This is Strong's 52:72. Hypocrisies, we would say, which means acting in a false manner. Again, deceit is the underlying cause. An overjudging of what one is doing by falsely setting up oneself as a judge and then underjudging what everybody else is doing. That's why they call them hypocrites. Envying, Strong's 53:55. Ill will, jealousy, spite, or envy. I ask, how often do we fail to recognize that envy is the source of our words and actions toward others? And he says evil speaking. This is Strong's 26:36, and it means defamation, backbiting, evil speaking. Instead of speaking evil of others, Jesus taught us to pray for others. As in Luke 6:28, bless them that curse you, not repay them in kind, and pray for them which despitefully use you. Again in Matthew 5:43, ye have heard that it hath been said, thou shalt love thy neighbor and hate thine enemy. But I say unto you, love your enemies, bless them that curse you, Do good to them that hate you, and pray for them which despitefully use and persecute you, that you may be the children of your Father which is in heaven. For he maketh his sun to rise on the evil and on the good, and sendeth rain on the just and on the unjust. These are the deeds of the old man. Peter's statement is, quote, having laid them aside. He means all of them, having laid all of them aside. Then, having done that, it is set before us the preconditions for the unhindered growth of the new nature in 1 Peter chapter 2 and verse 2.